Ain't that right, Frank? Huh? He don't give a shit. No, you don't give a shit because you're a selfish, selfish dog. All you think about is yourself and when you're going to get fed next. Yeah. Hey everybody, it's Drewski McGillicuddy, and there I was last night at 3 o'clock. Well, it was like 1:45-ish in the morning, and I was scrolling through Netflix of all places, and I come across this movie I remember seeing the cover for. I don't remember where I saw the cover for it. I just remember seeing the cover for it. And it's a movie called Cop Car with Kevin Bacon. And as I was doing what little research I do for these things, I realized that John, what's his name? Anyway, the director of this movie directed Spider-Man Homecoming, which, I'll be honest with you right now, I was not that big of a fan of. I didn't think the movie was all that great. Granted, I never even finished watching The Amazing Spider-Man 2. However, I did like the first Amazing Spider-Man. But guess what, everybody? We're not here to talk about that. We're talking about Cop Car with Kevin Bacon. It also stars these two little kids. I don't know what their names are in real life, but in the movie, their names are Travis and Harrison. And Travis and Harrison have ran away from home. So the movie starts out and they're walking through like one of the most beautiful landscapes you could have, even though it's like kind of barren. It's the Colorado countryside, not the Rockies, but this is the part of Colorado where it's just endless fields of tumbleweeds and roads that seem as if they never end. And I've been on this road, not this particular road, but I've been on roads like this, and it's crazy to me to think that these kids are walking and you can't see houses or anything in each general direction because you find out, did I already say that they're running away from home? So it seems they've gotten pretty far on foot, and it kind of amused me because they're sitting there practicing their swear words because they're about 9, 10 years old. And they're just walking through the field. One goes shit. The other one goes damn. Then the other one goes ass. And the other one goes asshole. And then they eventually get to my favorite, fuck. And one thing leads to another. And they come across this cop car. And that's where we get the title of the movie. Because it involves this cop car and the sheriff seems to be, actually, it's the sheriff's cruiser. He's nowhere to be seen, nowhere in sight. And these kids are figuring, we've already ran away from home. We're already in enough trouble. Why not steal the cop car so we don't have to walk anymore? But it doesn't start out that way. At first, they're scared to go up to it. They're sitting there spying on it. They're watching it, keeping an eye out. And then they go up and touch it. And then the other one's got to go up and touch it. And then they got to get inside and pretend like they're driving. I mean, I don't know about you, but definitely me when I was a little kid, any opportunity I had to sit in the driver's seat of a car and pretend like I'm driving, hell yeah, I was going to take it. The bulldozers, police cars, station wagons, it didn't matter. It didn't matter. If there was a car sitting there and the door was unlocked, I was getting in that son of a bitch and pretending like I was driving. Like, granted, I didn't do this to strangers' cars or nothing. Every once in a while, they'd be doing some stuff out at my farm, and there'd be these bulldozers. But don't worry about that, okay? Worry about these kids messing around with this cop car. Because then he flips down the visor, and there's the keys. And what do? You flip down the visor, there's the keys. What do? You see if the key fits. And sure enough, the key fits. So they start the engine, and it's so fucking adorable. I can't express to you how adorable it is that the car starts, and they both jump out of the car and run and hide behind a tree because it scares the shit out of them. And then it's like, and they get back in the car and they put their foot on the gas, and it's not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere because you can't just start the car and put your foot on the gas, expect it to go. Because see, that's the thing. Like, they thought of everything with these kids. Like, they're so genuine. Like, I felt like these were two kids that actually knew each other, that were like really good friends, because they were just something natural about just their back and forth, and then the reactions to things, and just the way things played out. Like, especially later on in the movie, like, they felt real to me. It didn't seem like it was a bunch of kids that were acting. It felt like real kids. Along with the rest of this movie. The rest of this movie felt real. It didn't feel like it was like Kevin Bacon gives a hell of a performance once we get to Kevin Bacon. Because all the while these kids are messing in the car, and then they figure out that if you put it in the D, give it the old D, that the car will go. So they take the car out, joyriding in the fields. Because like I said, this is just open pastures for miles and miles and miles. And then there's this little tiny road that goes in between it, connecting this little tiny small town to, I guess, some other tiny little small town. So these kids, they're just having a fucking ball, man. Having an absolute ball. Now, I don't want to spoil the movie, but Kevin Bacon's doing some pretty suspicious, shady type shit. Okay? Because we go back and we see him pull up in the cop car. He takes off his uniform and he takes a body out of the trunk and puts it on a tarp and drags it. I mean, and this is a great idea. This is exactly what I would do, except I would not do it on a flat place where there's barely any trees. Like, he takes this body out, drags it in the tarp, through a field, to a little thing of trees, and there's a hole in the ground. And he throws the body in the hole in the ground, and then somehow realizes, point of the story, there's a body in the trunk that he takes out and puts in a hole, but then there's another body in the trunk. But it didn't dawn on me at first, but now that I've spoiled it for you, you'll know that there's a body in the trunk, okay? So he's out here disposing of this other body, comes back to where he parked the car, and guess what, everybody? Are you guessing? That motherfucker's gone. It's gone. It's nowhere to be found. So he calls the sheriff's office on his cell phone, asked if they're having any problems with their CB, any kind of interference, anything. And they're like, no, everything's good on our end. So he says, all right, well, there's probably going to be some kind of interference. I'm having trouble with my radio. And she's like, we want me to call it into the technician? He's like, nah, I'll figure it out myself. But basically, he's just, covering his tracks so that, like, if the kids were to pick up the CB and be like, butt fuckers, so he takes off on foot trying to figure out where in the hell did my car go. Then he has to haul ass all the way to this trailer park where this is one of the best car stealing scenes I've seen. I don't know. It just, I mentioned how everything in this movie felt legitimately real. Like, I don't know. Just the fuck. Anyway, he goes and he steals this car from this trailer park that leads to a very intense scene because the sheriff gets pulled over. But I'm not going to talk about this scene because that's just something you're going to have to watch for yourself. Because I feel like, all my movie reviews, I just sit here and go, scene for scene, this happens, and then this happens. But that's just how I am. That's how I do things. Okay? I know some people don't like it, but if you don't like it, guess what? There's fucking other YouTube channels you can watch. So we're back to these kids, right? And they're almost to the edge of the pasture where you can't go anymore because there's a fence. And then there's a gate. And then there's the real road. And they can go real fast on the real road. So, of course, they're going to try to break through the gate. But they don't want to hurt the car. So like this scene is absolutely adorable as well. He gets out of the car and he starts kicking the gate.
Yeah. Shit. Did that break it? It must be titanium.
And then they slowly press the gas up against the gate instead of just ramming through it, because you got to think these kids have no idea what the hell they're doing. And then like I can't remember, there was a scene where they're figuring out that R means it goes, because I don't know what reverse is, but R means you go backwards, D means drive, P means stop. It just, these kids are fucking great. I cannot stress enough how great these two child actors are.
Push it as hard as I can. It's working. Push your foot down all the... Serious shit. Oh shit.
In this movie, like they are completely natural. I can't say it enough, because yeah, this movie's a tad slow, but it comes in at only an hour and 27 minutes, something like that. But I never felt myself bored. I was always interested in like, where the hell is this going? What's gonna happen next? Oh my God, because eventually this lady sees these kids joyriding down the street. And she's at a diner, she sees two officers, and she says, hey, I seen these kids driving down the street. So they radioed it in, and this is just as Kevin Bacon makes it to his house, and he's got a CB in his old truck. So he goes and plays it on and says, oh yeah, switch over to channel 7 so that you don't hear anything that happens on channel 6, because and he keeps making like this squealing with his CB so that they think, oh yeah, there's definitely something wrong with this channel. But don't worry about that. So Kevin Bacon, now that he has his CB, radios to the boys who cannot hear him because they're off playing with the caution tape in another adorable scene. But eventually they hear him, they find out what's in the trunk, and then it's third act from here, and I don't want to go into it. But basically, he tells the boys, "Hey, you better sit there and wait for my arrival, because I'm coming to get you and making sure you get home safely." And did I mention that Kevin Bacon had killed somebody, put him in their trunk, and then put him in a hole in the ground, and then still had another body in the trunk? So yeah, I wouldn't trust that he's going to go safely get these boys home. Even though I had an inkling of hope. I was like, you know what? It's still Kevin Bacon. It's still Kevin Bacon. There's still a chance that he could do the right thing. But no, this leads into one of the finest indie third acts I've ever seen. Because like I said, this movie's small scale. I think I had a $5 million budget, which might seem like a lot of money, but as beautifully shot as this movie was, like I'm talking absolutely gorgeous. Like, and then the night scenes, once it gets dark outside, it just, I don't even know what footage I have found or can show you, or the images that are popping up. I have no idea. I just watched this movie last night. I'm in the middle of trying to set this up. I figured I'd make this video so you could fucking see this. So I was going to use a better camera. But anyway, don't worry about none of that goddamn shit, all right? We're trying to talk about fucking Cop Car and why it gets a motherfucking 10 out of 10. Because goddamn, I mean, I couldn't find a fucking thing wrong with it. Great child acting, great adult acting. The cinematography is fucking insanely good. The directing is insanely good. And, you know, this guy went from this to making Spider-Man. And even though I didn't like that Spider-Man, the movie looked good. I just didn't like any of the fucking characters in it. But I loved all the characters in this one. Even the bad guys. Because, you know, that guy in the trunk, he wasn't dead. Anyway, I don't want to spoil anything. Like I said, I just wanted to pull you in with the story of these two boys that had ran away from home, find a cop car, and that cop had just literally killed somebody, and they done stole the wrong cop car, so to speak. So anyway, have you seen this movie? Let me fucking know in the goddamn comment sections, you sons of bitches. I'm sick and tired of you people not commenting on the video, okay? Also, click the like button. Tell your fucking friends so I can get more views. I'm sorry. Let me calm down. Anyway, please consider clicking these several buttons to help this channel out, because I'm never going to get big and famous on the internet if you don't click the like button. And then you can also help me out by following me on the social medias and consider donating to my Patreon, where one of these days I'll hold up my end of the bargain. I mean, I already got y'all. Look, here's your names. Get ready. Here they come.